Okay, let's start with the Nokar mantra. Om Namo Arihantanam. Om Namo Sitanam. Om Namo Ayariyanam. Om Namo Uchayanam. Namo Luve Savasahunam. Eso Panchanamo Karo. Sava Pavapanasano. Mangalalancha Savesim. Paramam Have Mangalam. Paramam Have Mangalam. Thank you everybody for attending this class. So I have good news. We are going to finish the Tattvarthsutra today. So that's great. So you'll have a great understanding. It's a great introduction to the book. So you don't feel hesitant about opening up the book on your own and thinking about what's in there. Any questions or comments from last week? Okay, so let's jump right into it. Let me share the screen. Let me share the page we're on. We're going through the last three chapters. And the last three chapters are Bandh, Samvara and Nirdra, and Moksha. So right away, again, we have great admiration for Acharya Umaswamy. The chapter is Bandh, and the first two are what is bondage and what causes bondage. So what causes bondage is wrong belief, non-abstinence, negligence, passions, and activities. And what is bondage? The individual self, that is the soul, attracts particles of matter, which are karma, as the soul is actuated by passions. So that's bandh right there. Next, the top of page 114. There are four types of bandh according to the nature of karma, the duration of karma, the fruition of karma, and the quantity of karma that you get. That determines the bandh that you have. There are 8 types of karma, of course. The knowledge obscuring of karma, perception obscuring, feeling producing, deluding, life determining, name determining, status determining, and obstructive karma. Top of page 115. So as we all know, those 8 types of karma are divided, and the divisions are 5, 9, 2, 28, 4, 42, 2, and 5. So if you forget which ones we're talking about, it's the same order as they were introduced in. So first, let's talk about karmas which obscure sensory knowledge. This is Nanavarniya karma, which is the first one, knowledge obscuring karma. So Nanavarniya karma obscures sensory knowledge, scriptural knowledge, clairvoyance, telepathy, and omniscience. Remember, you already have all of these things. And it's the karma that is obscuring these things, which makes it feel like you don't have it. But remember, you're a soul and you have these things. You have clairvoyance, you have telepathy, you have omniscience, and you have happiness within you. So there are 9 types of perception covering karma. Ocular perception, non-ocular intuition, clairvoyant perception, perfect perception, sleep, deep sleep, drowsiness, heavy drowsiness, and somnambulism, which is committing cruel deeds in your sleep. There are 2 types of feeling-producing karma, the karma which produces pleasant feeling, and the karma which produces unpleasant feeling. Okay, so there are 28 kinds of deluding karma. So out of the 28, we're going to break it down into subtypes. There are faith deluding karma, conduct deluding karma, and passion deluding karma. So at the bottom of page 118, we learn that karma is a part of not just humans, but animals get karma, heavenly beings get karma, and heavenly beings get karma as well. Okay, so nam karma. So, what does the Nam Karma control? It controls your state of existence, class, your body, the chief and secondary parts of your body, how your body interacts together, your structures, your joints, touch, taste, odor, color, movement, um, self annihilation and annihilation by others. Remember, that is when you're going to die, and my guess is self annihilation is if you kill yourself. Whether you emit a warm splendor or you emit a cool luster, that is, there is an aura about you. How you breathe, how you walk, your beauty. If you're ugly, it's like I am, it's because of this karma. And how your body moves around. And remember, the very last one here, Tirthankar Nam Karma. If you're going to become a Tirthankar, then you have this Nam Karma. There are high and low types of karma, and there are 5 types of obstructive karma. They obstruct you making gifts, you making gains in your life, your enjoyment of things, your enjoyment of non-consumable things, and how much effort or energy you have. Those are the types of obstructive karma. Okay, so each type of karma has a minimum and maximum duration. We're at the top of page 121. The maximum duration of obstructive karma is 30 sagaropamas. Remember, we talked about how long that was before. Moving on, deluding karma, 70 is the maximum duration of that. 20 sagaropamas is the maximum duration of nam karma and status determining karma. Top of page 122. 33 sargopamas is the maximum duration of your life karma. The minimum duration of feeling producing karma is 12 murtas. Does anyone know how long a murta is? I do not know. Okay, so maybe that'll be some homework for later. So the minimum duration of nam karma and status determining karma is 8 murtas. The minimum duration of the rest of the karmas we didn't talk about is 1 murta. Okay, so what is fruition? Fruition is the ripening or maturing of karma. That is, when they come to fruition, they leave your soul and you suffer the consequences of them coming to fruition. The nature of the fruition is, of course, dependent on the type of karma that you have. Bottom of page 123. After the fruition, the karmas fall off or disappear. That's a natural burning of the karma. And remember, we can perform nirdra to burn off the karma before they come to fruition. Okay, so a little bit more about karma. The karmic molecules of infinite times, infinite space points always pervade the subtle form of every soul in every birth. That is, they are bound to you. They are absorbed by the soul because of your soul's activity. And if your soul didn't do any activity, you would acquire no karma.
Hey, Tim?
Yes?
The murta, according to Wiki, is a division of time, 1/13 of a day, or a period of 48 minutes.
Okay, so 48 minutes. So we knew that number was auspicious, and now we know why. Thank you very much. Next, we have punya and pap. So punya is when you get good feeling producing karmas, you will have an auspicious life, an auspicious name, and status determining karma. Oh, sorry, this is not punya and pap. This is gati and agati karma, right? So 4 of the karmas are good and bad, and 4 of the karmas are bad only. Okay, so that was it. So that was bandh. Obviously, bandh, we're talking mostly about karma. So any questions on bandh? Okay, so only 2 more chapters to go. You guys are doing great so far, and I hope that we're learning something. So, samvar and nirdra, the stoppage and the shedding of karma. Great. What is samvar? Samvar is the obstruction of influx of karma. How do you do samvar? Next. Control, carefulness, virtue, contemplation, conquest by endurance, and conduct. This is how we do samvar. You can also do Samvar by, you can do nirjara by penance and austerity. I think we jumped into nirjara here. You can curb your activity. You can control your walking, your speaking, your eating, your lifting and laying down, that is, your moving, your excretions. And if you control all of these things, you can control your karmas. How else? By forbearing things, by being modest, by being straightforward, by being pure, by being truthful, by having self-restraint, austerity, renunciation, non-attachment, and celibacy. All of these things are what we call virtue. And because they're virtues, they're your duty to do them. Bottom of page 128, how else can we do it? We can reflect on the transitoriness of life, our own helplessness, the transmigration of our souls, how lonely we are, how distinct we are, how impure our souls have become, how ashrav or influx, samvar or stoppage, disassociation or nirjara. We can reflect on the universe, the rarity of enlightenment, and the truth of the Jain religion. Why do we have to endure these things? So that we stay on the path. That is the middle of page 129. Top of page 130. What kind of hardships can we go through to perform nirjara? Hunger, thirst, cold, heat, insect bites, nakedness, absence of pleasures, women, pain arising from roaming, discomfort of postures, that's yoga, having an uncomfortable couch, scolding, injury, begging, lack of gain, illness, pain inflicted by blades of grass, dirt, reverence, and honor, good as well as bad honor. If you have conceit of learning, if you have despair or uneasiness arising from ignorance and lack of faith. These are the 22 hardships we can undergo to perform nirjara. If you're a saint in the 10th... Yes.
I was just going to say, so we have a great opportunity for nirjara coming up. The Amini Hori is coming up, and obviously we know that right now it's not the most convenient time to host it at Derasar, but I think it'd be nice to think about how we can perform nirjara during that time in our own way, staying home. And we have a principle that part of the principle, if we can follow during that time, I think that's a great opportunity.
I think so. And you bring up a good point about reorienting our life until things get back to normal. And, there is no more normal anymore. Whatever happens after this pandemic is going to be something different. Just like if you remember when 9/11 happened, there was a time before 9/11 and a time after 9/11. And we never got back to the time before. And this pandemic is going to affect more people, has already affected more people than 9/11. So it's important to accept change and to understand that change is a part of life, and that whenever this pandemic goes away, whenever there's a vaccine that comes out and everybody's inoculated, your life is not going to return to what it was. And Jainism can help you with that, and Jainism tells you why that is. Other questions or comments? Okay, let's go back to it. All right. So we have 14 afflictions for the saints in the 10th and 12th stages of enlightenment. 11 afflictions occur to the omniscient. All of the afflictions arise in case of the ascetic with gross passions. Okay, so we have jumped around a little bit here. We're at the page 131. Extraordinary learning and ignorance are caused by knowledge obscuring karma. So if you're wondering why it's tough for you to learn, it's because of Nanavarniya karma. Misbelief and the lack of gain are caused by faith deluding and obstructive karma. So I guess we're learning about the bad parts of what can happen with these karma now. So we kind of jumped around from afflictions. I guess we're talking about afflictions now. Okay, so conduct deluding karma, what can that do to you? Can cause you to be naked, cause you not to take pleasure in things that perhaps other people take pleasure in. Um, it can cause you not to have success with the opposite sex. It can cause your posture to be very bad, can cause people to reproach you, can cause you to be a beggar, and can cause you to be not reverent or honorable. Other afflictions may be caused by feeling karma, and these afflictions can occur simultaneously, of course. Okay, so let's talk about conduct. How should you behave yourself? You behave yourself with equanimity, reinitiation, I'm not sure what that refers to, purity of non-injury, slight of passion, and perfect conduct. Okay, so external austerities are fasting, reduction of diet, begging for food, giving up stimulating and delicious dishes, being isolating yourself, and mortification of the body. The internal austerities, remember we're talking about nirjara, are expiation, reverence, service, study, renunciation, and meditation. That is, these are the things you can do to burn karma, which is nirjara. There are many subtypes, of course. Bottom of page 135. Learning more things we can do. Page 136. More things we can do. Being respectful to holy people. And the 4 orders of monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen. Teaching, questioning, reflection, recitation, and preaching. Giving up internal and external attachments. What is meditation? Bottom of page 137. Concentration of thought on one particular object. In the case of a person with the best physical structure or constitution, it extends up to 1 murta. We learned that was 48 minutes. There is pain, cruelty, virtuousness, and purity in the world, and the last 2 are the causes of liberation. On the contact of disagreeable objects, thinking again and again for their removal is the first type of sorrowful concentration. That is, if you focus on what you dislike, you will have this obstacle-inducing karma. The contrary in the case of agreeable objects, and that will also cause you pain. And as you wish for enjoyment, that also causes you this karma. Okay, so here's an important part. Top of page 140. These occur in the case of laymen with and without small vows and non-vigilant ascetics. That is, one of the things that humans can do is make vows. And remember, even heavenly beings or hellish beings cannot make and adhere to vows, and certainly animals cannot make and adhere to vows. And this is your weapon. This is your weapon in the fight against passion, is that you're able to make vows and stick to them. And as you get better at it, it's like a muscle. As you get better and better at it, you're able to shed more and more karma. So what happens to people without vows? They unduly concentrate on their own injuries, their lies, their stealing, and the safeguarding of their own possessions, because they don't have vows and they don't understand the truth. More about meditation: the contemplation of objects of revelation, misfortune or calamity, the fruition of karmas, and the structure of the universe. So the first two types of those are attained by the saints, that is, contemplation of objects of relevation and misfortune or calamity. The last two are the meditations of the omniscience. Again, 4 types of pure concentration. That is page 142. And there are 3 types of activities, of course, bodily activity. Nope, I didn't read that right. Of 3 activities, 1 activity, bodily activity, and no activity. Here we go. The first 2 types are based on 1 substratum and are associated with scriptural knowledge and shifting. That is, 1 activity and bodily activity. The second time is free from shifting. Not sure what we're talking about there. Okay, bottom of page 144, again an important part. That is, the amount of nirdra. Remember, disassociation is how nirdra has been translated in this book. The amount of nirdra that you can do increases innumerably as you proceed from stage to stage. That is, the first stage is you're a right believer. The second stage is you're a householder, able to perform partial vows. That is the 5 minor vows. The third stage is you're an ascetic. You're able to perform the 5 major vows. Next, you're a separator of passions. Next, you lose your faith deluding karma. Next, you lose your conduct deluding karma. Next, you're a saint with very little passion. Next, you lose your delusional karma. Next, you are the spiritual victor, or jina. That is, as you move to each stage, the amount of nirdra you're able to do is increased innumerably. We have the names of the passionless saints here at the top of page 145. And these are how the saints are differentiated. That is, the difference between the different types of saints are their self-restraint, their knowledge, the amount of sin that they do, and in the case of Tirthankars, their different states. Okay, so that was 2 concepts, which is why that chapter was so long. That was Samvar and Nirdra. Remember, we talked about Ashrav last week. So questions and comments on that?
Similar, just a comment. And I think is, let's take our vision, all the karmas that attach to our soul. Somewhere is stopping the inflow of that water into the tank. And Nirdra is opening up the tap at the bottom, and removing that water level, assuming that our idea is to empty that karmas attached to our soul, and removing all that water or karmas out of our body or away from our body. So that's example is for me, and I think it helps us to differentiate.
That's right. So we talk about the example of the man in the boat. Samvar is plugging up the hole in the boat, and Nirdra is bailing out water that's already in the boat. That's very good. I think that's very helpful for a lot of people. Other questions or comment on Samvar and Nirdra? So we're in the home stretch. Congratulations. We're in the very last chapter. Acharya Umaswamy saved the best until the end. We're going to be talking about Moksha, which is the last chapter. So let's get to it. Okay, liberation. Omniscience is attained on the destruction of the deluding karmas and on the destruction of the knowledge and perception covering karma and the obstructive karma. So you get rid of most of all of your karma and you'll become omniscient. And that is liberation. As we see next, the annihilation of all karmas is liberation. The qualities of your soul, once you have achieved liberation, are infinite faith, infinite knowledge, infinite perception, and infinite perfection. Okay, bottom of page 148. Immediately after that, the soul darts up to the end of the universe. Remember, Siddhasila is located at the top of the universe, and every time you die, your soul tries to shoot up. But your karma bends the path of your soul back downward into another body. So obviously, once you have gotten rid of all your karma, nothing will bend the transmigration of your soul, and you'll immediately go to Siddhasila. So what we just talked about, it's the nature of your soul to dart upwards towards Siddhasila. I don't understand these analogies, but it's supposedly like the potter's wheel, like a gourd devoid of mud, like the shell of a castor seed, or like the flame of a candle. I understand that last one. The flame of a candle naturally goes up. I'm not sure about the other ones. Okay, so here's a very important point how we are different from other religions. Bottom of page 150. The emancipated souls, that is, the souls in moksha, can be differentiated with reference to the region, time, state, sign, type of arhat, conduct, self-enlightenment, enlightened by others, knowledge, stature, interval, number, and numerical comparison. That is, we believe that emancipated souls reside separately in Siddhasila. We do not believe that we all return to one being, or that we are all one being. We are all separate souls, and will all stay separate souls even after we are emancipated. Okay, very good. So questions or comments on moksha? Okay, so what we've done in these last, not the last three, but in 3 classes worth, is we've gone over very rapidly, probably too rapidly for discussion and for some of your tastes, the Tattvarthsutra by Acharya Umaswami, as edited by the people you will see in the front. And so this is one of our primary vehicles to learning the truth. That is, Mahavir Swami set up the fourfold order of the Jain system, and he preached because he had omniscient knowledge. And those texts resulted in the setup of the Acharya system that we have today. And one of the Acharyas wrote it down, right? And so this is pure distilled truth about the universe. And so each there are only 2 or 3 sentences per page because you're supposed to reflect on each of them very deeply. We kind of just basically raced our way through it because I want you to feel comfortable opening up the book and knowing about what you'll find inside and being confident that you can do so and you can understand what each of them means. So any questions about anything we talked about? We went over the entire Tattvarthsutra, and now you'll be familiar with it, and you won't hesitate to open it up when you say, well, how many types of karma are there? You know exactly where it is. Or you're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't understand. I'm supposed to be a good person, but what does that mean? Well, you can open up the book and you can find out. So any questions about that?
But I like the quick rapid fire review. I think it helps because whenever we pick up something big like this, it's always a hesitation of, uh, and even like sometimes being scared of reading through the entire thing and not understanding it.
Right.
I think it gives a flavor and it gives an overview of what we're going to get out of book like this or a grant like this. So I think it helps. For me, this was a good overview of the entire um, cycle and what we can get out of this is if we spend more time and effort on it.
Right. And I definitely am not the authority on this. As you guys have heard, I sometimes don't know what the Acharya Umaswamy is talking about. And so it's good to, if you see something that you don't come across, then do your own, do research, and you can enlighten me too. Mihir, you had something you wanted to go through at the end here?
Yes, I asked if we have time at the end, we can go through. If everybody wants to share positive things either happening to them or around them during this time.
Okay, so why don't you go first?
Okay. There are quite a few. There are lots of positive things. The one thing that was very unique that I'd like to share is there's a photographer in our community, and basically he said anybody who's interested in taking their pictures and depicting how things are going for them during this time, he said between 5:30 and 6 o'clock in the evening, set up however you want to set up outside your house. I'll come drive through and take pictures from my car. And it was very interesting to see all those photos that were posted on Facebook and how people were trying to depict um, the positive things and how they're working. And these are going to be good memories at the end. Some were had just they just came out and had a smile on their face. So things like that, I think, are the positive things are coming out of positive things are coming out of this time. And I'm interested and curious to know what other positive thing, either personally or some general things like that, have you seen or noticed during this time?
I'll go with one thing I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the fact that um, this tragedy has turned a lot of people on to who are important in their lives as far as the doctors that put themselves in harm's way, the truckers that make the food supply that happen to the grocery stores possible. I think this is opening up a lot of people's eyes as to the people that we took for granted in our society. For example, the people that we need to stay open, like the grocery store or essential services, or people that clean the offices we are in. We've seen them doing double duty as well, and that's what I'm really grateful for. Is that we people are starting to become aware of who's important in their life. Would anyone else like to share?
I can go. During this time, it's particularly hard on kids. So someone from our community came up with like a bear hunt or any toy or soft toy that you keep in your window. And when kids go out for a walk or something in the evening, they snip those and write out how many they saw, or different kinds. So gives them some fun, and then new ideas started generating for next week. Kids gonna do something, write out something by chalk on the driveway, and we'll try to make a word or some sort of analogy to what's going on. So keeps the kids a little busy and occupied in the evenings for a little bit of time that they can come out, and they do observe social distance as well as we saw.
That's great. Would anyone else like to share some silver linings of what what they've seen as silver linings to this tragedy?
I think it's a really interesting. This is Encore, by the way.
Hey.
I think it's really useful that we can kind of turn off life for a little bit, because most of the over the last like 5 years, Monday through Friday I work, Saturday, Sunday is events, birthday parties, classes, and then back to work. So it's really nice to see that life does go on without having a bunch of social events and a bunch of having your schedule triple booked all the time.
Right.
And it also allows you to kind of respect the value of introspection. That rather than just going, you can sit and actually contemplate things, and that's really cool. And to see the family interact and watch the bond between the siblings grow. Because when I was a kid, we had hours, like days, weeks, end to end, with nothing to do but just to sit and be creative with the siblings. And I'm noticing with my kids that they're doing that, where they have to be creative and find things to pass the time. So that's one of the great things that has come of this.
Right. And so when we develop a vaccine and everybody gets vaccinated, are you going to remember to not fill up your schedule as much?
That's the $1 million question. So, if you can find a way, so why do we fill up our schedule? Most of the time it's, for getting more experiences or getting more stuff or getting more money.
Right.
And now that we're realizing that we don't need all that, then maybe it will automatically play out that we don't have to fill our schedules, that we can find happiness in within.
Right. Would anybody else like to share some silver linings that they saw? Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I really appreciate that. I'm letting you out early today. Let me know if there's something that you like, that you don't like with the format, or that I'm not doing right, and we can take care of it. Thank you so much for coming today.